Let's see if that's better. Ooh. This is the other reason why we're doing it, is so we can work out technical issues.
What did you do different?
I forgot to add this mic to the master to the stream.
Oh, I guess you better start over and let people know what you're painting.
Well, yeah. Well, as soon as I figure out this echo thing, because we're using a cell phone as a mic.
Oh.
Yeah, because a cell phone is always on. Okay. And I was really hoping that these headsets would be able to work. Oh. Well, that's fun when you thought you had sound and it wasn't there.
Now you have it, but it's echoing.
Well, yeah, and it's because I'm using a mic that's plugged into the computer, but StreamYard still broadcasts sound through any mobile devices that you might be using. So, oh, and that exited my camera out of the booth. Let's do a quick see if we can fix this problem. Okay, good. Oh, come on. Cell phone. And then turn on mic for that. And I can hear myself. Okay, so for all those watching at home, let's see how this works now. I am hearing a hum in the background. So.
And I can hear what it's doing from there. Do you have my headphones? My dongle?
Yes, I do. As we're taking a quick pause of painting to try to get this sound issue for. Here's the dongle. Okay. And because it's funny to hear myself, I'm going to take off my headphones. So I'm just going to talk into the ether. Okay. And let's turn that off now. Well, yeah, once someone pointed out that the sound wasn't working, it's just a matter of being able to work out the issues. Okay, so today, welcome to our live stream. 40 minutes in. We are painting this model up for Black Fae Day, so we're going to take this elven wizard and eventually turn her into a fairy. How fun will that be? Right now, we are struggling with her skin tone. Because, let's try this chaotic red. Because the oak brown ended up being way lighter than I wanted it to be. So thank you, Let at Gemma, for letting me know that my sound wasn't working.
I'm making you a butterfly.
Thank you. These paints are letting me know that I don't use them enough because I'm having trouble shaking them.
Shake it up. Shake it up.
Shake it up. Shake it up. Adjust the ring light so that it doesn't block the camera. Yeah, like I said, we know that this is Friday. Our plan is to do these events on Thursdays. I think I like how that might be coming out. So let's try that. This time I'm going to try on her arm. That's a little bit more of what I want. Thin down the paint on the brush. Trying to be careful about not hitting that lightning that's going on around her arm. But other than that, I'm okay if I overpaint and hit the clothes as long as I don't hit that lightning. Even on the skin tone, I'm going to be painting some variation in there because even skin needs highlights and lowlights. Anyone doing a makeup tutorial can tell you about that. And so that's true even when you're painting these figures. I'm going to paint her with lots of armbands. So instead of having sleeves, she just has armbands. Because I decided to be so. Because it looks like that's how it's made.
More armbands.
Yeah, I there's this space near her armpit that I could have painted as sleeve, but instead I'm painting it as armbands. And now that I feel like I have a good control over that skin tone, I'm going to go in on her face and try again to add the skin tone to her face. Trying to be nice and thin so I don't erase all that detail because facial detail is important.
Do you use like a pin for her eyeballs?
Usually not. I have another trick for our eyeballs. Get a little bit more liquid on that brush. I think her legs are fully covered. So she actually doesn't have... I need her hands. She doesn't have a whole lot of revealed skin to work with. Lightening up those hands. I could be using a whole lot smaller of a brush for this, but I'm not. So what's going to happen is once I start in on the lightning, is I'm going to mix some very thin translucent washes to go in there. And that's going to take up a lot of the lightning.
What color lightning is it?
I'll decide that when I get there.
It's going to be like a white kind of see-through kind of deal?
Well, I am going to try to mix, like I said, I'm going to try to mix it thin so that you can get that translucent quality out of it, because they bothered to mix it translucent. So I will try to do that. Okay, it looks like her hand is pretty tight around the staff. So let's try to carefully get in there. It's almost like those hands are turning into an afterthought to the action of the staff around it. I can repaint parts of the staff. I can't repaint parts of the lightning. Oh, and I'm not happy about that. I think that was fur brown that I had there. So the main mass of this is still fur brown. It just with slight tints of barbarian flesh, and chaos red to kind of... That wasn't a barbarian. That was the... Sorry, I was using a base of dirt splatter with slight tints of the others. Well, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in the fur brown in order to get the highlights. So when you get to the highlights, it's a little bit redder. Actually, what I just mixed is a little bit better. So I'm trying to place it to... you go. Okay, let's go back to the yellow because I wanted it on that neck detail that I didn't get. And then I'll get to decide what color do I want this hair to be, because after all, she's Fae. She doesn't have to have naturalistic hair.
I think a gradient might be cool.
Yeah.
So that might be hard. She's wearing a ponytail. But I do want black.
You want black hair on that one?
Yeah, but I want like some kind of sparkle or like a light, like you would do her lightning, you know? Whatever color lightly that you're doing with the lightning.
So like black roots and fading up to whatever color you're using the lightning for?
Like maybe it's black and then you just lightly go over it with the color you're using the lightning.
Yeah.
Then it kind of would look like it's being reflected in her hair, which would be cool.
Yeah, those light effects can get real dicey and real tricky to do. Of course, these character models are a little bit harder to do than the monster figures because there's so much more detail to keep in count. Okay, let's go over some places like here. And some places where there's some darker undertone, because with these thin colors, to take care of darker colors underneath, you just kind of need to layer it up. Even if I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it this way. And if you do each layer too thickly, then it'll start erasing the detail underneath. Okay. Well, we said black hair. So let's get some black for the hair. This is the basic base. I'm not sure if I like all of that as much yellow as I'm doing. I might chop that down. But, and as we can see from her wings, there is a lot where it should go out into more of a lavender color. So I'll probably start putting in layers in order to try to pale out some of that yellow. But first, black for the hair. I can hear my design teacher scream because she hated it whenever we use black.
Why?
Because it kills the color.
Kills what color?
It kills colors. Regular black tends to be really flat. I might need to get some more water. Okay, I think I am going to go for, I just put out this black. So far, most everything I'm doing with the same brush. I find that I tend to do most of my painting all with the same brush. This is matte black. So as you can see, it's a very cold black. This is hardly going to be the last color we're going to use for her hair, but it's the base that we're using. Right now, everything is just kind of like the bottom layer that we're going to build from. One nice thing about painting on the camera like this is I can actually keep track of how long I've been painting. So while there's a lot of things that kind of stuck to start, I think we're going to make her the base of her staff also black. Because if we look at the wings that we use to kind of start to dictate the the colors we're using, towards the edge of the wings is black, and so I want to honor that in the model itself. And actually reminding myself about what's going on there.
I'm being messy, like with these things. I'm not really turning out a nice clean surface.
I often find that just blocking out the colors like this is the easy step. I have to do something because I'm getting a lot of overpaint on that on the lightning. So we got that. I think I'm also gonna go black with these little bags. They won't stay black, but they're going to carry a lot of darkness with them. You can see the places where the yellow and the purple mix, it kind of got muddy, and that's because they are contrasting colors, and when they mix, they do that. So okay. So now cleaning the brush. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring in some of these colors. So I like the upper parts of her pants being yellow, but I am going to bring that blackness into her boots. So she's gonna have black boots that I will then tint with more of that lavender color. Hope I'm not losing that detail. I'm seeing some with these boots why I like to start with a dark colors first, because a little bright color popping out from that dark color, people are like, ooh, that wasn't covered like it's supposed to. I'm even seeing some purple section in the underskirt that I missed, and I have to figure out how I'm going to catch that up. So So there you go. Yeah, there's a bit there that I want to make sure to get. I'm gonna have to clean the brush because some of that paint just got on too thick. And then I'm gonna use it to pull off some of that paint on the hair. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds to dry because I'm moving so quickly that we are losing. Yeah, the colors are starting to run into each other. Usually that's not a problem. But I certainly see that I'm running into it right now. So, and I'm gonna want to do some color change with the skirt. I'm okay with. I think I want to keep the yellow in this, in things like trims and stuff like that. But I'm gonna want to get the lavender in on a lot more places. So I will be back in a moment. Admire the miniature in its current state until then. Okay, we're back. Fresh water on hand. With what we're getting into, I'm going to switch out. Well, first, I guess I'm going to go and do a little bit of that purple underskirt, purple touch up. Since I spotted some gray space down there and underneath. So like these edges here needs to be all touched up. And underneath here, a lot of these cracks, when I start doing washes towards the end, will disappear. But what I spotted was back here, there was a whole bunch of gray. That needs to be eliminated. Washes will do a lot, but they won't do everything. Man, my edges on this lady is just terrible. Okay. So that's cleaned up. So now what we're going to start getting into is a lot of these skirts. I'm going to take away that yellow and replace it with more lavender, but I'm going to try to do that in a stepped manner. So next I'm going to shake up this orc blood, and I'm going to dry brush just about her entire outfit with it in order to try to bring out those highlights.
I think I have a flower that color. Nice,
yeah, it's
purple cozy.
Hold on one moment.
Your connection died?
No, my the battery wasn't charging.
No, I did change your cord.
Well, it's charging now.
What color purple is that?
They call it orc blood.
It's really pretty. I didn't know orc blood was purple.
A lot of people like to make orc's blood purple to further dehumanize them. But this should only be a step away from. And wow. That's not very well mixed at all.
That's pretty though. I like the silveriness in it.
Muffin stirring.
Mm-hmm. Where can you walk? It's
They
so hot.
Out in front of the restaurant.
Where?
There's a grassy area next to the east lot that seems to be a good spot for her. Instead of using this one, I am going to use this small dry brush, which is also defined as my favorite brush ever.
What do I pepper with Ragman?
We haven't figured that out yet.
Looks like an inner courtyard in the middle.
There is. It's just no grass there.
Yeah. I wish I had that.
That would be nice.
Butterfly sanctuary.
Okay. So as you can see, because I've been handling her, some of the highlights have been the paint has been rubbed off on some of the highlights. Oh, this orc blood. I might need to buy some mixing balls because these things are just not mixing.
What about those on the shelf over there?
Those are the mixing balls I'm talking about.
No, you also found a finger wrap.
Yeah, I know. The little ball bearings on the Army painter rack is what I'm talking about.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the paints on the shelves.
People need to shake them well when they buy them. Hey, we got a second viewer. Welcome.
So then know what you're doing.
So putting out some of this, or hopefully this orc blood is gradually getting better mixed. As I want to dry brush it over her to try to get some details to pop on her. But right now it's just not. There's so much. I'm trying to thin that out on my hand. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful purple? Take a plastic knife to try to mix that up on the palette. Because the whole thing with the dry brushing is you want a dry brush. So if there's too much medium in the paint, then it's not going to work very well because the changes won't be that drastic. And it's going to run, and just like it's doing now. Okay, I'm going to go for a more drastic step. So I'm just going to go straight to this toxic boil. Hopefully this one will mix a little bit better. If you let your paint sit too long, it'll take a long time for you to actually shake them and mix them up. But yeah, she's slowly coming together. Ooh, that one's having some difficulty coming out. And so it came out in a burst. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful how it's coming out. I'd show you, but my palette's a mess. I keep a messy palette. So I'm just going to lightly. And as you can see, I hope you can see, those details are starting to pop out, so it's easier to see for other steps. Going up to the shoulders. And again, you can see the places where the paint rubbed off because I've been handling her. And I'm trying to do these strokes from her head down so that it also helps mimic what's happening with the light. Because naturally, there's light. Yeah, I'm really starting to pick up those highlights with that. That's nice. So you can see a little more of what's going on. Okay. So let's clean that brush. I'm going to go back to the old regimental brush and take that not very well mixing work blood to kind of do the base coat of retaking parts of the skirt back from yellow to purple. I am going to still try to keep a thin amount on the brush so that when I do it, we can still kind of hit the contours of all those cracks. Not fond how that's turning out at all. There's a lot of medium in this paint. But it will make it look like the skirt is made, the purple that's going to pop up in the skirt is going to look different than the purple that's popping up in the overcoat. In general, I am not fond of working with yellows. And you're seeing a lot of the reasons why. Yeah. So the skirt is going to end up looking is going to be comparatively warm compared to the rest of the outfit. There are some interesting effects happening here. I just wish I could take credit for doing it purposefully. Okay. Yeah, if I'm really going to retake this purple, I'm going to need to go into the cracks with something. So this Grimoire purple, just like the Orc blood, a very red purple. So there's a lot. So it should end up looking warm while the coat is looking comparatively cool. So what I always tell people who I'm teaching how to paint is that this whole thing is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So you just kind of go back and forth painting different elements until you finally get what you want. So in this case, the skirt is going to end up looking relatively muted, so the colors aren't going to be quite as vibrant, but it's going to feel warmer than her coat. So there's going to be a lot more feeling of red in that skirt. The highlights might cool that down, but the base color is still going to be showing through. So, and every now and then we're going to have a glimpse of yellow from that skirt. Oh, look at that. So evidence of yellow is still going to be everywhere in there. So that's kind of where it's at right now. I'm really focusing a lot on her clothes and not so much on her face, which I'll have to get to. Next, I'm going to go for the Insane Detail brush. And go back to the dark alien purple. Because, like I said, I'm turning this and hair got in there. I'm going to turn turn the yellow into more of a highlights color. So it's going to be like the trim of the bands and things like that. I'll have to clean it up, but like her pants are going to stay yellow. Her things like that. Trying to use my nails to scrape off some of that extra paint. And then over here, the lightning effect is going to want to be one of the last things. Hopefully, as I do these, each one will become shorter as I can decide to do these things faster. Because, like I said, I think the mic was still down when I said it. My goal is to try to be able to paint a model like this in an hour. So that when I sell them, I know how much I am making from that. It's getting a little bit of that highlight from the toxic boils. Ooh, that went down and uncovered the yellow. Missed that. Yeah, that's really went too thick too fast on that one. So I'm going to take some of it back so I can come back and redo that. Getting a little bit on there, so there's a little bit of a gradation on that purple highlight on the armband. You know, now that I think about it, that oak brown is looking an awful lot like a yellow ochre. It's probably part of the reason why they called it that. Which means if that's the case, we might see that make a comeback a little bit later on this figure. So there you are. Okay, I think I saw another really light purple here that I was contemplating. Let's see how this ooze purple, it looks a little bit warmer than the toxic boils. Let's hold on. No, actually, it's a little bit bluer. That's going to be interesting. I'll try this pixie pink on the skirt since it's already warm and redder. Maybe let's see how this actually turns out. And I'm going to use it on that on the loincloth area, because a lot of these fancy models like hanging loincloths for whatever reason. Tablecloths, whatever. I'm sure some medieval recreation person will come on in and say, "It's this," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay." Oh yeah, man, look at that. That is gorgeous. I like it. And so that's going to go on the rest of the skirt. Bringing out that pink really puts it in its own place. And this is what I'm talking about as far as like two steps forward, one step back. Sometimes you trying things out, you end up with something that just works really well for the model and you didn't even expect it. And it's light enough that it's popping out that detail, letting parts stay in the shadows so that it letting the dull parts stay in the shadows so it acts like a shadow. That might have been too thick. And it's even working with that base coat of yellow that it had. I am liking that. All right, I'm dry brushing this. I'm trying to catch these edges to make them pop a little bit more. Just look at that. How that's turning out. Liking it. There's still problem areas I got to work with, but you know. Like that collar. Look at that collar. I think I'm gonna have to build it up like I did with the skirt. That strikes me as the right thing to do. Get a little bit of that, more of that boil on that armband over here. It's a really small area with that collar. So we were first dealing with that orc blood that I wasn't happy with. Where'd I put that down? Orc blood. Because again, I still want kind of that yellow trim going on. And yeah, see, that orc blood is mixing as I'm shaking it. It's mixing better. And that way, the colors in the skirt are being brought up into your neck, into the neck. And being communicated on that way. I might have to go back with a really thin brush in order to reconstitute some of those yellow trims, though. And just that looks. And I'm going to go straight to that pixie pink. Thin that out on the brush, so that one I go. Now, while I'm doing that, all you viewing audience at home, think about eye color. Okay. Because I'm hungry. Grabbing a quick bite. Okay. Now, for all those who remember me having a tough time with her skin, we are going to go and head back to her face in order to try to make that vibe for us. So I'm putting out some dirt spatter, some barbarian flesh, and some fur brown, which is what I've been using for her face, or for her skin tone. And take my... Going to take a regular brush in order to mix it together. And some of these rough spots on the arms, I'm going to start just kind of giving it another coat. Because as you can see, there's some place where there's like some purple that got on the arms and things like that. This brush needs to be a little bit wetter. And now I'm just kind of touching up her face. Gonna have to go back and do some of these and now I'm gonna do her eyes. Now here's the trick with it. Here's the secret. I say that and then I go and I step back in order to it's like, oh, better get a little bit here, because I think back here, her neck, some of her neck and some of her scalp should be showing in a thin line between there. Here's the trick with eyes. You're going to mess them up no matter what you do. And everyone's like, say it's not so. How dare you say that we're going to mess it up? And it's like, it's true. You're going to try to make it a really small area that just kind of hits the pinpricks of those eyes, but you're going to mess them up. So what I'm going to tell you is my steps on making sure that your eyes are great, even though you're going to mess them up. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose something for the whites of the eyes. And for the whites of the eyes, I'm going to use, well, matte white. If you look at people's eyes, their eyes aren't all white. Some has a little bit of yellow because of reasons. Some have a little bit of red because they need more sleep. But we love the look of brilliant white eyes, of the whites of the eyes being a brilliant white. I need my the tip of this is a little bit clogged, so I'm going to use my handy dandy paperclip just to stick in there to try to unclog it. And you can see this mess right here that just came out. I mean, who knows? She's a fairy. She, instead of having whites for the eyes, she might have greens of the eyes. I am going to get my handy dandy insane detail brush. But instead of trying to poke at the model to try to get the whites of the eyes so that it just sticks just in the eye hole, I'm going to pick up a little paint, try to thin it out so it's will come out just where I want it. But there's enough on there that I only am going to have to stroke like once or twice. I'm going to hold up the model really carefully. And I am going to try to paint just where I want it. That one's pretty good. You guys are like, ha ha ha, I thought you said you were going to screw it up. Just watch. Now for the other side. Need a little bit more paint. Now, you're going to get closer to, as you paint, you're going to get closer to accurate on this. But like, as you can see right now, that one is bigger than that one, just barely. And you know, it's all close enough. Oh, there it goes. Always messes up. Just look at that. So before I go and try to fix that, I'm then going to get her eye color. Lena, what eye color should I make this purple fairy? Gold? A metallic for the eye color. Go figure. I'm going to use this bright gold so the shine will pop a little bit better. Same brush. Stick that on the palette. pick it up with my insane detail brush. And instead of trying to make a dot, I'm going to make a stripe. And you're like, I know. Oh no, but only cats have striped eyes. We're getting there. We're not done yet. Just for some patching, I'm going to take a little bit more white. Want that a little bit thinner. I want my brush to be thinner than that. And I'm going to go and just kind of poke at that inside. So now I'm taking back to try to control the space that those gold eyes are. Checking to see.
Wouldn't that be cool if you did like what Bailey Saran does, where she talks about murders while she does makeup?
That would be cool, but right now I'm focusing on eyes. Ah! Bumped my light. So right now what I'm trying to do is make sure that the eye itself is perfect. Between the pupil and the whites. I don't care about how it overlaps the skin. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I messed up. It's always the right eye. It's always the left eye. Always the left eye that really gets me. Okay, good enough. Okay, so now you're going to go back to your skin tone. Mix together your skin. And now you're going to do the take back. So instead of getting Zuko eye, you're going to start painting around the eye in order to cover it back up to the skin tone. I'm having a lot of trouble right now just controlling my point. This is, everyone knows the pains of doing faces. And it's so much harder to do them when there's a camera in the way. Really kind of is. You just have to take a deep breath. You get that eye off of that cheek. Not going to claim that by any means makes perfect eyes. But I find that it makes a lot better eyes than what the previous technique. Sticking my pinky into. Man, I'm getting paint all over my hands now. That white just doesn't want to apply. There you go. Next, what I find even harder than eyes. Let's get some more black on there in order to do eyebrows. But first, take a breath. Because just the eyes are hard. Okay, next. Eyebrows. And you're like, oh no. And we thought eyes were hard. Where did I put down that black? I see where I put it on my palette. Probably put it back in my carrier. Matte black, back in the carrier. So yeah. 2 distinct eyes. After I finish these steps of getting these details in that everyone likes to see, then I start trying to get the highlights and the lights of the skin and all that stuff. So again, most of the time you have to actually just draw these. You draw in the eyebrows. Kind of looks like a Joker face. I've got some black in for the lips. Not that the lips are going to stay black. And I'm going to go in. And once again, shave back some of those eyebrows. Oh, my point control is just being terrible today. I think that points down a little bit. So this, as you can see, the whole point of this is just to kind of get the color in there and then use the skin tone to shape the features of the face. I really wish there was a little bit better definition on that gold. So there you go. Her face. And I'm going to have a camera thing real quick because I'm constantly having to check trying to coax my cell phone to charge while we do this. And I don't know why it keeps on forgetting its orientation, its angle orientation between things. Okay. So now that we got the face, I'm going to go take the regimental brush, put it up to try to get some flexibility back into the bristles. Man, I'm going 2 hours on this. I was hoping this would be faster than that. And get back that black because, again, the base for the hair is black. So the way that these hair is going to be is we're going to paint the hair back. get these tips here. Wonder where her ears are. I might have to look at the model package because I think I get a sense of where her ears should be. But the package doesn't show it very well. Yeah, I think I got an idea of where it is. It's just going to be dark skin on dark ears. And it's a really small detail. I almost wish I could snap off these arms for a moment. So again, just like with the face, you get that color in for the ears. These ears are going to make painting this hair fun. I'm going to go back for the black. Because just because a detail looks simple doesn't mean that it is. And that's going to add so much fun when we actually start painting the highlights of it. Okay. These tips rub away so easily. Okay. And I'm constantly playing back and forth, saying, okay, now I fix you. Now I go and fix you. It's like, oh, now I've got this other piece of the underskirt that I keep on missing. Eventually, I'll get back to that yellow to try to get the yellow back where I want the trim, which will actually probably be the last step before going in with the washes. So look at that. Once again, let's compare the model to the wings. His wings are going to look fabulous. But even so, there's some places where we're going to want even lighter colors, lighter purples. Unfortunately, they don't quite make a metallic lavender. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take this shining silver, mix it with a little bit of the lavender that we used in the on the top in order to get those embroideries on the inside of that outfit to pop. Right now it's just graying it out. So I'm going to take a little bit of that matte white and also get it in, because we don't want to just get it a metal version of the toxic boils, but we actually want to get a lighter version. So the shining silver is the lightest metallic they have in the set. Actually, and I mixed with this brush, I'm actually going to try to gently dry brush it on, which might be a mistake. We will see. Oh, that might be too much paint. And remember, the key with dry brush is that you keep a quick hand so it just grabs the detail. And with this particular one, we also want a lot of control to make sure that the brush only goes where we really wanted it to go, which is really hard. That detail there is interesting. I think I want to do some adjustments to the face. So what I'm going to do is get some of the lighter browns. I'm going to lighten up the skin tone a little bit. And what we're going to try to do is achieve some highlights on her face, which is hard. That looks like what I'm after. So we're trying to very gently hit these lighter tones on the tops of her cheeks, her nose. I'm actually going to want a little bit on her forehead. Looks like when I got her nose, I got a little bit of her lips. That's a shame. I'm going to retake those parts of the lips, not with black, but with Griffin Blue, which is a relatively warm blue. Just initially came out really watery. That's more of what I'm looking for. My hope is that with the black that's already there and the Griffin Blue, it'll make her look like she has blue lipstick. It's kind of getting there. Tip of the nose is still not doing what I want it to do, though. So it's a bit of a boop. As I'm trying to use the darker colors I used in the skin tone and the lighter colors in the skin tone to kind of manipulate that light and shadow on her face. I'm not absolutely fond of that, of how her face is turning out, but you know, there's a point you gotta kind of ride with it. So, I think I'm gonna use that. No, use some of that lavender mixture on her staff. Just because we don't want the staff to be purely gold. Of course, I forgot to put the black on that side. We'll let that dry for a moment. Meanwhile, those satchel bags, we just want a little bit of color in there. The blue we use for the lips, Griffin Blue. Shake that up a little bit more. Shake it up. Shake it up. There you go. There it is. Shake it up a little bit more. Still an awfully wet paint. I'm going to hit those saddlebags real quick with some of it, that Griffin Blue. You know, I got so much wet Griffin Blue here. I'm just going to lean into it and see how with this staff we are using a very wet paint so that it takes advantage of all of those highlights and stuff like that you see there. So that there's a little bit of a glow to the to what you use there. I'm not going to say that I do these transparent models rare enough that I'm still trying to get the hang of them. But this is the theory that I run on right now. It's just trying to keep it nice and thin. Take advantage of the fact that, yeah, you screwed up some and there's some flex there, but whatever. And even that orb, here, take some of the medium from this Griffin blue, mix it in with the purple we've been hitting most of the model up with, and kind of lightly stinging it on the bottom there. So the orb feels like it's purple while the lightning is blue. So there. Man, that bottom part still just keeps on keeping on. It doesn't help. I am trying to finish this up quickly because, you know, we've been going for a while. Okay, finally. The last step before we start gluing on wings is it is time to hit it with some washes. So what I'm going to start with is, since I want a lot of this color to come through, I'm going to pull my blue tone wash because there's a lot of this that works with that blue. And I'm going to bring my soft tone wash. And I'm going to quickly go and look through the rest of them to see if there's any more that it's like, yeah, no, I think I want this. Soft tone is a very light brown. So it will go into those kicks and giggle. I'll bring out my purple tone. It will go into those nooks and crannies. And with the other colors we use, I'm thinking that will give just a little bit of a shadow. Light tone, not the soft tone. And then I'm going to go in with the purples and the blues in order to try to finish that up. Where I think that having those distinct colors matter. They also make dips for a couple of these. So you could do this quick. So if like you're doing an entire army, you can do that. And I am actually going to use my main brush to do this, not any detail brushes. And you just want to paint it into those cracks where you want to see these tones. So like I'm per skirt with a soft tone. And so it's going to give a little bit of shadow to that. You can also hit the boots with that. It's actually lightening up the boots. Hit the edges of the of this. So it's actually making the boots look dirtier with that soft tone. I'm going to hit a lot. I'm going to hit the saddlebags with their soft tone. And I'm going to go across the armbands with this, particularly where it mixes in with the flesh. And this should actually take back a lot of the sins that were created by the quickness that we did. It's amazing what these washes can do to just add that variation contrast. So now I'm going to go in with the blue tone, wash my brush. So if I remember right, this blue tone should come out a little bit aqua. And again, particularly this top area, I'm going to be dabbing it into a lot of the cracks because we are still getting a lot of the details are still blending together. So going there, getting down the middle there, drawing these creases between the outfits. And you can see how the color is just kind of sinking right there into the cracks. I'm going to actually hit the head of the staff with this. So it should let our fire still show. And hitting the neck. I think at the beginning of this, I was actually I was falling too in love with the yellow, and I needed to ease back and just keep that to the trim. And as a result, we had actually gone a little bit in the opposite direction where too much of the yellow got eaten up. Now I'm going to go in with the purple last. Because, of course, the main color of this model is purple. And
Hey, Stewart.
Yep.
I think I should go to the store just because we don't have any milk at home.
We do need a trip.
Yeah, we need a trip. Nothing's pretty much sleep anyway.
Yep.
And I'm not getting anything done.
Make the best of it while you can.
What?
And I'm actually going to get this purple into these shadowy areas. Since purple is the main color of the model, kind of want to place this so that it makes parts of the model pop. So I know it's low. It hasn't been charging properly this whole time. Hold on. Hold your horses before you go. I'm just about done. So she's gonna need to dry some, but Oh, where did that glue go? Lena, do you know where the super glue went off to? You know the Gorilla Glue that we usually use?
Right here. Feed.
Did this one get resined?
Yes.
Ooh.
Why?
It makes it more difficult to fold.
I didn't know you wanted to fold them. You want one on for resin? I can fold them. Here.
Yeah. Oh wait, hold on, man. This one has been unresined. This is the one I was going to use anyway. So I'm going to fold this, and I need the glue. Ooh, this is. The puppy's up. Take a picture. Oh.
Put the puppy down. She needs to.
I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the
I figured I put
thing
in the...
on my palette, and then I am going to tap the folded edge of the wings into the glue so we don't over glue it. And then let's stick it onto her back.
Cool. That's so cool.
So there we are. We'll take some pictures and put it up on social media. I'm also going to do a couple of last minute finishing touches on it, get her on a base, get the base all textured, and this will be available in the store for a price tag. Thank you for watching. I know it was a long one, and I hope you enjoy.